This is unprecedented. We're starting the show early.
Cut the intro song.
Cut the intro song.
This is too good.
We were wasting our good stuff before the show started.
It's because we're naturally funny.
So we naturally we cut the intro song
for the first time ever.
This is in 200 something episodes.
I didn't like it. I was just about to have a sip of coffee
because we're wasting our best stuff before Lockpod goes on the air.
I guess that's all a matter of opinion.
We're Indiana's most dangerous podcast. This is Lockpod Left to Center podcast, popular in Belgium, Thailand,
Singapore,
South Carolina,
Germany.
Mississippi.
And what was our best stuff?
Season 8, episode 16.
It was the Chicago election.
We don't got much to tell you today, but we did start chatting.
There goes the show.
Yeah, like woo, everybody's
like thank you. I can have my Friday back.
There's a big mayor's race in Chicago. We were just talking about it, and I was pointing out to the crew in here how
is it a big one? Or is every mayor's race in Chicago a big one, I guess?
Yeah.
Because it's a big city.
Well, it's contested.
It's a big election.
It's,
by many.
The incumbent is viewed as weak heading into election, which is unoften. That does not happen very often. With Chicago mayor is usually very strong and very secure.
True. Well,
in this case, Mayor Lori Lightfoot is anything but strong and secure.
We grew up with like the dailies for 40 of the last.
So those
years,
elections I would not characterize as big elections.
Agree. I got you. Yeah.
I would characterize this one as a big election.
Well, I was just wondering if you're using the word big in like the sense like because it's a big city or
no,
it's
I'm
like
using it because it's a big election.
Monumental.
Thank you, Jill.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This freaking guy, man.
9 candidates.
Just asking.
I point out that I'm mayor emeritus.
No, you said no. You didn't even say emeritus. You said emeritus. How do you say that word?
But I was just trying to insinuate that I'm like the king mayor.
And
so
I was
so if I endorse a candidate in Chicago, it should hold weight.
Well, yeah, but I was like, don't say you're mayor emeritus. That means you're not mayor anymore.
I'm going to endorse. Let's freaking straight
Whoa.
up drop it today
Come on.
in the Chicago mayor's race.
Hold on a second.
Without
John. Breaking news. Lockpod, breaking news. Mayor Tom decides to endorse in the big mayor's race in Chicago.
I got to get this guy's name straight if I'm going to endorse him.
Oh, Jesus. Which one? Just throw
He
the
follows
dart.
me on Twitter.
Oh.
Because he thinks like
Is
he
that
wants
why
to
you're endorsing?
emulate. Yeah.
Brandon.
Just because he endorses you on, or just because he follows you on Twitter.
That's it.
All right.
That's the only reason I'm endorsing.
You follow Mayor Tom on Twitter,
Yeah.
you get an endorsement.
I love it.
That's
Like
buttering
Oprah.
up the
you
judge.
get an endorsement. You get an endorsement.
Right? This guy
the
buttered
judge
me
doesn't
up.
always work, by the way. Just so
It
you
worked
know.
in this case because I'm
Works
going to
in your
endorse
house.
this kid.
Does it
This
work in
kid,
your house?
He's by the way, I think most people would agree that Brandon Johnson, right, Joe?
Yeah.
Is not.
Yeah, that's the one we're going.
You know, the guy who follows me on Twitter.
He follows me. I don't follow him. I'm going to follow him today.
I know.
Okay,
I know.
so Brandon Johnson is not the front runner by any stretch.
Okay.
I'm endorsing this kid.
Wow.
Going hard.
Here it
Coming
is.
out.
Who doesn't love a dark horse?
Build a stronger Chicago for all.
I am endorsing Brandon Johnson. I'm going to come out hard today for Brandon Johnson. And if this kid wins on Tuesday, I'm going to be tight with the mayor of Chicago.
Well, you're going to have a Twitter follower that already followed you. Like, you'll be like, yeah, mayor of Chicago follows me.
Because Lori and I have no relationship, and we're next door neighbors. Like,
Yeah.
who doesn't know their neighbor?
If anything, she
Me.
has
I don't know my neighbors.
not said the greatest things about Hammond, right?
Yeah,
She's
great.
complained about the water, right?
Yeah, she did.
Complain about guns.
Yeah, coming
Yeah.
from Indiana. Mm-hmm.
She's basically like Bette Midler, right?
Screwed with us.
Yeah,
and, screwed
that
with
was
us and
funny.
Joliet.
Good
That
job.
was a long
Joe.
time ago. Yeah.
When Bette Midler played Hammond.
Yeah.
Talked all kinds of shit about us.
It was funny.
Was she mayor then?
No.
Bette Midler?
Bette
Bette
Midler
Midler was
mayor.
never the mayor.
Thank you, Joe.
No.
Like,
When-
Bette
I don't
Midler
think
mayor.
I don't think Lori Lightfoot was mayor when Bette Midler
No,
came
she
to
was not.
Hammond.
But when Bette
Stick with
Midler
us,
came to
Kevin.
Hammond, I know what Joe was talking about. Joe was pointing out when Bette Midler played Hammond, she came out and she goes, Hammond, Indiana. She goes, I've worked my whole career and finally I'm in Hammond, Indiana.
I remember
and
that.
It brought the room down.
It did.
Yeah, or something like
But also, you're right, Bette.
a girl could dream or something like that. Like it was.
But in a
hilarious.
way, maybe she was right.
She was right.
So Brandon,
Bette Midler.
Hey, man, I like it. I like what I'm
I like the
reading here.
website. Me too.
John?
Who doesn't want to build a stronger Chicago for
hold
all?
it. Let's
Agree.
I do.
I want to verify that this guy does actually follow me before I come out.
Here we
I'm
go.
pretty sure this is the guy that
Here
follows me.
we go. Here we go.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that he follows
I'm
me.
gonna.
Look at it. What a good-looking family, man.
Is this when I doubt you? Is this when I
No,
say?
no. This is a legit doubt.
All right.
I'm pretty sure.
It's actually...
No, wait. Let's, if we could rewind
Scroll
this,
down to
John.
his contacts.
John, if we could rewind this, he said the only reason I'm endorsing
Yeah.
is because he follows me on Twitter. So
I'm trying
then
to find him.
that begs the question: if he does not follow me on
No,
Twitter,
I'm out.
is
I'm
he
out.
withdrawing the endorsement?
I'm out. Yeah. Hold on. I don't even know if this guy does have a Twitter. Hold on.
He does.
Oh,
click
God.
his Twitter link.
This is exactly
Hold on,
what
hold on.
goes
It's,
on
Brandon
before the show
Johnson.
starts.
Would it be
Brandon?
his campaign?
Is it
No,
Owen?
he's got to have
Oh.
a
Brandon Johnson. I
Personal.
can't find this dude.
You
because
can't
he
find a
doesn't follow
Brandon
you.
Johnson?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Like, what's his personal?
It's all falling apart. The opening
Oh,
bit.
God. We never should have cut in early.
No,
Yeah.
this is all because
Could
we
we-
cut in
was it
early.
too
By
late
the way,
to play?
can we just go back
Start
to
it
the
over.
last part of the intro and start again?
I swear this guy follows me.
Yeah, I don't
Hmm.
think he has a personal
He doesn't.
Twitter.
Okay, unless it's BJ7.
Oh.
Brandon
There's a Brandon Johnson.
CCD1.
I bet
There he is.
is.
That's got to be him.
Yeah, that looks like him.
That's him. Does he follow me?
Does he follow you?
What's it? What's it?
At Brandon CCD1. Oh, well, that's
him.
another
Cook County.
campaign
Oh, he's a
page.
Cook County commissioner.
At Brandon.
CCD1. Cook County
Okay.
commissioner.
This guy doesn't follow me.
Ah,
Okay.
there
He
goes the
will
endorsement,
now.
Brandon.
All right, never. All right, he's out. All right,
right.
who am I endorsing then?
No
Here we
endorsement.
go.
No one.
Mayor Tom removes endorsement from Brandon Johnson. Brandon Johnson is doomed on
I think it's
Tuesday.
more like a rescission.
Rescission. I rescinded. Thank
Yeah,
you, Kevin.
I think you rescinded.
All right, I am not mayor emeritus in this
No, you
case.
are not. You are currently the mayor.
I am not endorsing Brandon Johnson. I want to make it clear. I thought this guy followed me.
What about
Thank goodness we cut early for this.
There was a kid that was following me in the Chicago mayor's race. I
Is
thought
it
was
Wilson?
All right.
Or,
No, it was a
Willie-
young guy. It was
Willie
a young
Wilson
guy.
did do free gas in Hammond.
It was a young
Oh,
guy.
that was a mess.
I did not like that.
That's the reason I would not vote for him.
Thank you, Willie Wilson. By the way, he confused the Hammond and Illinois borders. So,
Yes.
yeah. I mean, you can't buy gas in Indiana and run for Chicago mayor.
No.
It doesn't work in my book.
Caused a big traffic jam.
And then I'm not with Chewy. I'm not with Mayor Lori. So I'm going to have to say.
Garcia.
I'm
Vallis?
He said
Paul
no.
Vallis?
I can't be
Vallis?
with Chewy. I don't like Chewy. I don't like his commercials. I'm
No.
with Vallis.
All right.
Even though the guy doesn't live in Chicago.
Brandon
I'm with
Johnson.
him. I'm with.
No,
Yeah,
he doesn't
I'm
follow
out on
you.
this. Breaking news: Mayor Tom rescinds endorsement for
Mayor,
Brandon
Mayor
Johnson.
Tom confuses everyone on where he is on the Chicago mayor's race.
Brandon Johnson unfollows Mayor McDermott. Mayor McDermott rescinds endorsement and goes with Paul Vallis.
All right.
Even though he doesn't live in Chicago.
He
that
lives in
true?
Hammond.
So
Does
clip
he follow
this.
you?
Clip this. He doesn't, but he will. Clip this. Vallis is going to win. Lori
Wow.
Lightfoot is going to lose as mayor of Chicago on Tuesday.
I'm actually amazed by the amount of funds each of these folks have raised.
Incredible, right?
Lori Lightfoot, that doesn't surprise me. 8.2 million. Although actually, I thought she'd have
That's
more.
not
I thought
much
she'd
at
have
all.
more. Thought she'd have more.
Agree.
Willie Wilson,
how about this?
6.1, but that's a lot of his own dough.
Okay, how about this, though? Put it in perspective. Mayor Lightfoot raises $8 million. Mayor Joe in Indianapolis raises like $4 million.
Wow.
And Indianapolis is not even close to the size of
no,
Chicago.
it's like probably one.
Mayor Lightfoot should be up
fifth?
at 10 plus, 12, 14. She should be up there, and she should be swamping these people.
Yeah, she should have been raising it for the last 4 years.
In any strong mayor, in any mayor's race, the opponents don't raise anything because everybody's just afraid to give them money. And I could speak from experience with that when I ran against Todd Young. It was hard to raise any money because people think it's a losing cause. If your opponents are raising lots of money, it's an indictment on the mayor. And these guys that are running
They're right
for
with
mayor,
it.
they're
right
all
with
raising
it.
millions of dollars.
8.2 million for Lori Lightfoot, 6.1 million for Willie Wilson. Although I believe a lot of that is self-funded.
Right.
Really? He's
a-
wealthy?
Very.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's he do? I thought he
knows?
just bought gas for people.
No.
You gotta have money to buy gas.
This is true.
No,
I thought
no.
it was just campaign money, being
I want to
honest.
say it might have been in the beauty
What a
industry, but I'm not sure.
campaign strategy.
Paul Vallis, former Secretary of Education, 5.7 million. Brandon Johnson, 4 million, and Chuy Garcia, 2.8 million.
And by the way, Chuy Garcia is a congressman.
Yeah.
He can't raise any money.
Yeah, maybe he had. I wonder what
You
his
could
federal
take every
campaign has.
every penny of your federal money could be used in this race.
That tells you what he thinks about his chances.
But or he took all of his federal money over, and that's all he's raised. And he's not raising anything. I think he's a horrible candidate. I just don't. He reminds me of somebody I ran against in the past, actually.
I wonder I wonder the horse races on this race.
I think it's Vallis and
Johnson and Lightfoot.
And Lightfoot.
Yeah, all right. And you got to get 50 or there's a runoff.
Yep. Runoff is like April 10th.
All right.
Hopefully there's a runoff. That'd
That's
be cool.
exciting.
Gives us stuff to talk about.
There was
on my
last
pod.
time.
Yeah.
What a whirlwind of
Yes,
endorsements being given
counter
and taken
endorsements,
back.
taken
That's why
away.
that's why we're the most dangerous podcast. in
Fooling us
Indiana.
that he wasn't mayor anymore by calling himself emeritus and then taking that back.
That's why we're Indiana's most
Psych.
dangerous podcast. Like people
We're
listen and
Indiana's most confusing podcast.
they're
at this point.
going through the highs and lows of all this stuff.
Yeah,
with us.
like-
they're like, what is he
This
with
is a
them?
roller
Is he-
coaster. No wonder I love this podcast.
Yeah, man.
The betting odds were changed. I don't know if you guys saw that in real time as you were announcing.
Oh, they were?
The odds were
DraftKings,
shifting.
Was it?
Yeah.
That's cool. That's why Lockpod is the shit right there.
Oh boy!
I can't wait for their next campaign commercial where they say they're Endorsed by us.
Lockpod endorsed.
Yeah.
Endorsed by Lockpod.
We
That's
should
when we
cut
made
this and give it to Vallis's camp and see what they do
just
with
the part where he endorsed
Just do a
Vallis,
fake
not the part
one.
where he
How
endorsed
about
Brandon
this?
Johnson.
I want all these guys to follow me. I am open for followers. Right now I'm locked in with Vallis, but if anybody in the Chicago mayor's race follows me, automatic
If
endorsement.
Brandon Johnson, who he thought followed him, all of a sudden does.
I
He's
think he
back
did
in.
follow me. He unfollowed me, which
no,
he's
no,
doomed.
No.
These guys should all be talking to me.
By the way, can I just say, I listened to the last episode and the F Party City segment. It was so good, Tom.
Yeah.
Like it was so Tom McDermott. That's what I loved about it. It was so like regular Tom McDermott and what happens
That's
in
why I
his
don't go
brain
shopping.
when he goes.
I don't go shopping because I get frustrated.
I have an
too
update
easily.
though. That's going to really frustrate you.
You already told me they're in bankruptcy.
No, this is an update.
Okay.
So after that episode, I was just kind of like scratching my head, like, how is this possible? Where the disco shirt, it wasn't available. Then Tom went there and it was available. It wasn't available anywhere, but there was one
in
available.
the Chicagoland.
Right.
Because
So-
of the 219 day. Obviously, all these people that wanted disco suits were going out and emptying the shelves of disco suits.
I spoke to a couple guys who had recently bought disco shirts at.
I noticed that. They probably got the last ones.
Okay, so
Which is
they
why
said,
I had to drive to Chicago.
They said when they went to Party City in Highland, which is 5 minutes from here, there were disco shirts galore.
Get the hell out of here.
I went and visited. There are disco shirts galore.
You went to look and see if there was disco shirts.
Yes.
I find out. Which Party City did you go
Highland.
see? You went into Party City.
Highland.
When?
Within the last, but seen
I don't
Tuesday
believe
and
you.
today.
I don't believe you.
And guess what?
This is bullshit.
So you know what I think? I think it's their online order thing.
Yes.
So like you were like, I'm just going to see what's available online.
I hate
you didn't
Party City.
go to Party
I
City.
freaking hate Party City.
Why didn't you just go to the Village and rummage something?
Well,
'Cause it was
you never
Saturday
know.
afternoon.
You never. It was like an
late
hour
Saturday.
before he needed to be at the
Kevin,
cinema.
I
do you
literally
remember
like
when you-
rallied. I'm like, I'm going to wear something today.
Yes.
What's that? I'm
I
sorry.
asked Kevin, I said, do you remember when you dragged me to the Village to
Yes.
find
What was that for Pierogi Fest?
No, it was for the festival commercial.
Oh,
And you were supposed to be the
yes.
Polish guy.
Yes,
and
yes,
apparently
yes.
you couldn't figure out what a Polish person wore.
That's why I
if
needed
you
someone with a
didn't have
Polish
me
last
with
name to go with
you.
me.
Or you could just talk to somebody we all knew that grew up in Poland.
Marissa.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could have. But
Yeah.
maybe she wasn't available.
Yeah. And plus,
It
if
was
you,
the
take
afternoon.
if you take Marissa to Party City, I'm going to start thinking funny things.
No, this was the Village.
That was even worse. If you take Marissa to the Village.
Thrift store.
Oh, okay.
You know.
I thought it was like an area.
No.
Okay.
No.
It is an area.
It is.
right.
Used
the
to be
vibe.
the ANP.
Hey, I got mailbag.
Oh, John, get those lips going.
Dude. That
John,
sounds very like.
Is that the title?
Wet those
Get
lips.
this, John, like I'm gonna cut that and use it. John, get those lips going.
That'd be a good
Like,
soundbite.
Kevin
That's a
said it so
soundbite,
happy.
yeah.
John, get those lips going.
So
like,
ex-
please
I'm so
cut that,
excited.
John. Just that clip, okay?
Kyle.
Because cut that clip and we use it in the future.
Wait, Kyle's real. I met Kyle.
Yeah.
Yes,
real.
we showed his photo on Tuesday.
John, get those lips going.
I'm writing it down. I'm writing the timestamp on here now.
Thank you, John. Kyle, the real Kyle.
Yeah.
The real authorized Kyle. We let him out for 219 day, Joe. Normally we keep him locked up, but I could tell it was hurting his
soul.
His soul. Yeah, he was. You could tell it just being locked up for so long that he was really.
was
he needed
great
He
to
needs
see
to
him.
be socialized.
It
So we
was
let
great
him come
to see him.
out,
And take a
reacquainted with
picture
his
with your
parents.
fake Tom.
Not with
Yeah,
you,
cut
just
out.
the cutout.
Oh, he's back in the
Disco
freaking
Tom
closet.
to you, John.
He went right back in the damn closet that night.
Yeah.
Like right back. Like we let him out. He didn't run away or anything. So
He
it's all
looked like
good.
the
like a
light was
puppy.
affecting him. I think
man,
the
it's
light
in
was
total
hurting his
darkness,
eyes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Anyway.
by this time next week, you guys are going to see what Kyle's been working on, and it's something big. So, Lockpod audience,
Ooh, yes.
look forward to that.
Oh, is it the
Yes.
long-awaited swag?
No.
He would no. Yeah, that's Steve.
Yeah,
Kellogg.
where is that? That
Oh, I
just
was,
sits
you know what?
with
Season 9.
I almost brought that up last episode. I was like, "Hey, Steve, I know you've been in Cancun for 4 weeks, and where's the swag that you promised us at the beginning of season 8?" And he actually texted us and said, "It's almost done." Like that was
Dude.
like
He's
3 weeks
monitoring
ago.
the sweatshop they're making in it.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
I get a call from him yesterday. No joke. He's like, hey, just touching base on the swag stuff.
What?
It's like he completely forgot where this left off before he went to
touching base.
Cancun.
Like how are sales going, John?
No, he's like, because what they want to do is when you go to lockpod.com, it'll
Right.
be the storefront.
Right.
So
We have a website?
yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just the domain.
See?
So
We don't. It's just
We're
the
big time operation.
See the problem?
So Steve's like, hey, I need you to connect you with this person. They need to get this. I'm like, Steve, we talked about this before you went to Cancun. I haven't heard anything. So I don't
John,
know.
you got to tell him that you're the talent, man.
John,
Like-
get this up.
When
Like,
Lockhart
Horse
started,
Wrangler.
John was supposed to be that guy, but John's the talent now.
I'm the talent.
So it's like, who are you talking
Wait,
to?
so Steve had no idea that swag wasn't up?
It was almost no. He knew it wasn't up. I
He just didn't care.
It's almost like he had like this short-term amnesia thing going on.
All right. Hey, John, get those lips going.
All right.
Mailbag.
Yes.
I know.
Oh, I
Kevin-
missed that.
Kevin loves it. Kevin has that cut out, and he just plays it back to back to
How
back.
I
This is
missed
ringtone.
Yeah, when John calls.
How I miss John's lips.
Oh, God. There you go.
I didn't
That's
say
the
that.
title of the show.
I did not say
Says
that.
Kevin Smith.
Get him going.
All right, this is from Joey L.S.
Mm-hmm.
Joey L.S. Sent me 2 pictures, actually.
These are great.
In mailbag. And said, so this is a picture of the intersection at Highway 30 and 41. For those of you that can't appreciate it, this is a state highway, so we're not in charge of the signage.
Also known
here.
as the exact crossroads of the nation.
Yeah.
US 30 and US 41.
Really?
Yeah,
I know.
That's
No,
supposed
I
to-
know. Is
yeah,
that, like,
so like because 30
significantly?
goes what? New York to San Francisco, and
Right.
41 goes down to Florida.
Okay.
So it's called the cross. That's why
Okay.
Sierraville is the crossroads of the nation.
Okay. All right.
30 and 41.
All right.
Busy, busy, busy.
I just thought it was 2 busy streets.
Mm-mm.
I didn't
Crossroads
think it was,
of the
like,
nation, man.
significant, like- all right. So anyway, there's a sign that's put up there that says Hammond is 9 miles away. I mean, this isn't like the biggest scandal in the world, but it just shows you what kind of respect. No, excuse me. There's a sign that says Hammond 14 miles away. I've driven by this sign 10,000 times, and I've never noticed that it says Hammond 14 miles away, and I never busted out my ruler and figure it out. Hammond is actually much closer than 14 miles away.
Well, the weird thing about it is that these are 2 photos taken about 3 years apart, right? Totally same intersection. And at one point, there's a Hammond sign that says 14. Then at another time, 3 years later, it says Hammond 9.
So Hammond moved 5 miles closer to
But we
Sherrville.
expanded.
Yes.
And
we've expanded.
This caller says it's all because of respect for Tom McDermott, the mayor of the city. That Hammond moved 5 miles closer. Hey, fellas, in case you're thinking of bits for the next Lock Pod, thank you. We were way ahead of you, Joe. I came across an interesting observation. Since Mayor Tom's campaign, Hammond is now 5 miles closer to Sherrville, as seen on this sign at US 30 and 41. It said 14 miles away in 2019. Now it says 9 miles away. Great job. Hammond moved 5.4 miles closer to Sherrville.
The irony is that by the way that, I mean, if you just measured it on your Google Maps, Hammond is only 5.4 miles away.
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
Keep up the great work, NDOT. It's only Lake County's biggest city.
14, 9.
You can't figure it out.
Reality, 5.4.
Wow.
What a bunch of F-ups.
Yes, if you went 9 miles on that road, he said you'd end up in East Chicago.
Yeah.
You know what's almost
it's
just
basically
as
Hammond.
crazy as this is something I saw on Twitter the other day. If you guys don't mind me moving on here.
No,
Please.
please.
So I get this notification from the Lockpod Twitter account that someone retweeted us.
Lockpod.
Wow.
And I thought, what did
Was
they
it Brandon
retweet?
Johnson?
Like, that's a first.
Yeah, like this is huge.
That
What
is
did they
huge.
retweet? And then I see it was Lakeshore Public Radio and Lakeshore PBS retweeted Lockpod.
Marks. Check marks.
So what it is
We're getting retweeted by check marks on
Nice.
Lockpod.
yes, and gold check
And-
marks.
What does gold
Wait,
mean?
yeah,
What is
I don't know.
That means
Something else you
bought
can
it.
buy.
That's just
$12
an,
bucks
it's
a
an
month.
emoji.
Gold check mark means you bought it, right?
Bought
I
it
didn't
for $12
That's the
a
first
month,
time
not
I've
$8.
seen. Really?
I think it's media. I think
You
gold's
get-
media.
so you
Well,
have to
then-
buy.
Then they should both be gold.
I think gold is like corporation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, certified corporation.
Gotcha.
That's stupid.
Anyway,
Yeah,
what
it
the
is stupid.
retweet was, so they did this like yesterday, was, let me pull up here.
It has even like a red light. Like
Go
attention.
McDermott, Todd Young, Seniac will face tonight
What the?
at 7 p.m. for a debate.
That was like mid-October, right?
Of
Yes.
last year.
Last year.
That's like 6 months ago.
So I'm not sure who's running Lakeshore and PBS's Twitter accounts, but if anyone's on Twitter thinking there's a debate between Tom and Todd Young again,
Tonight.
Yeah.
Tonight.
That was last October.
16th.
I really needed their retweet back in October.
That could have changed the race.
It would have changed the race. I was waiting for that retweet, Lakeshore.
Isn't that incredible?
That is bizarre.
Verified check mark.
It's
weird.
more bizarre than
Take
anything.
that check mark back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they shouldn't have a check mark if they're going to be retweeting things 4 months later.
Yeah.
5 months.
Wait, when did they retweet it though? Because sometimes I get notifications for stuff that people posted like months
Oh.
ago.
No, it was like yesterday.
Oh, okay.
So check this out. Let's go to Lakeshore PBS. Let's scroll down a bit here.
Oh
Look at that. Look at it. It's
my
like their
God.
first tweet.
Is
What?
it pinned? Did they pin it to the top of
Oh.
their page? Dude?
It's like, go down to the next one.
The next one is
Keep going.
Promoted tweet.
right.
February 21st.
Literally, if you looked at their Twitter, you would think that I have a debate tonight.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's a PBS.
Wow. That is crazy.
Isn't that wild?
That's like a sort of tone deaf.
Maybe, I don't know what's
Not
going
even
on in
sort
that
of.
place.
It's like, that was 6 months ago, big guy.
Maybe they're in a time warp.
Elon, take that check mark back.
Someone's getting fired.
I'd love to hear
And what's with the
who did
black
that
check
and why.
mark? Why do they have a black check
That
mark?
is
What
cool.
does that
Yeah,
mean?
what's the black
I
one?
prefer the black check mark
I'm
myself.
confused.
I don't like all these check marks.
I don't
drama.
either.
Maybe that's like non-profit corporation status.
Check mark
Yeah, who
drama.
But in
knows?
the retweets,
The fact that
they're
we don't
gold,
know
right?
says something.
Yeah, Twitter's changing too much for me. It's making me uncomfortable.
Well, thank you for mailbag.
That's
Yeah, good job.
Let's do some ads. We're going to come back. We got all kinds of exciting stuff. Can't
we?
wait to talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene some more. One of my favorite
By the way,
topics.
hey, we're going to do a public
Tucker
service.
Carlson.
We're going to do a public service. I don't want to lose viewers on this. I want to talk to you about something that's going on. I have a lot of friends and family that watch Fox News on a daily basis. Okay?
That's unfortunate.
It is what it is.
Yes.
I'm not passing judgment.
No, all right.
But
won't either.
I think the most important part
pass
of
judgment.
watching the news is for it to be accurate. Like when I watch ABC7 almost every day. Patrick and I, it's like our thing. We watch the news like almost every night with David Muir.
Okay, and I watch NBC.
Okay.
With,
Good.
yes.
But like I want to make sure, and I don't think David Muir's got an angle.
Lester Holt.
Thank you.
Lester-
Holt used to
But
be
like,
on NBC.
isn't the most
Chicago.
important thing when you're watching the news to make sure that if they're spoon feeding it to you, they're spoon feeding you facts and it's accurate?
You want it to be
and
as
they believe
factual
what
as
they're telling you,
possible, right?
But
Yeah.
like more importantly, they're not telling you one thing and they laughing at you off the air.
Mm-hmm. It's all true.
It's unbelievable what's going on with Fox News. I've never seen anything. I'm 53 years old. I've never seen anything like this in the media. It just blows my mind that people actually, it's like you're literally watching WWE for the news.
All right, so let's do some ads, and we're going
Right.
to come back and get a little deeper dive into what happened on Fox News last
Let's
week.
do that. Let's start off with Tortilla Nuevo Leon, which is the gold standard Mexican cuisine throughout the Midwest. Look for Tortillas Nuevo Leon's popular red and white label at your local grocery store and enjoy quality Mexican products made with local expertise.
Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón. Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón.
Tri Electronics wants to be your complete communications provider. Tri Electronics has been a leader in this industry for more than 55 years. We're dedicated to assisting our clients with their systems integration needs. Tri Electronics has the expertise and experience to provide superior results for a wide variety of projects. For more, what are you laughing about?
Yeah,
Jesus
dude. It's
Christ.
just someone put "I love David Muir."
Oh, wow. It's hard to believe.
Anywho,
Sorry.
for more information, call Tri Electronics today at 1-800-722-6793.
He's very sexy.
Calumet Brewing.
He is. He
David
is.
Muir?
He's got
Ever-
something.
Have I seen
He's got
He's got a
going,
lot of
right?
fans.
He's got it.
He's got
got it.
fans.
Look at that. He's handsome as hell. And I think he's like a straight shooter. That's why I enjoy him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think all those guys
If I
are.
swung that way, I'd swing that direction. You know what I'm saying?
I think Lester Holt's a straight shooter, too.
David
That's why I listen to
Muir? Is that how you say it?
him. Yeah, David
If I
Muir. There he
swung
is.
that
Yeah,
way-
he's a good-looking dude.
Yeah,
Look
of
at him.
course. By the way, on
he
Channel
looks
7
smart.
News,
He looks
Marissa and I
smart.
talk about
Does
this. Everybody on Channel 7 News, everybody
You're talking about
is like a
ABC
model.
News.
Yeah. Yeah,
Not
ABC.
Channel 7,
Yeah,
not like
ABC's
Chicago,
national.
right?
ABC Chicago national.
Okay.
Everybody that comes on is like a model. Every single person, like weather person,
Whoa.
model, like news person in Iraq, model. Like everybody is like pleasing to the eye.
I think all those national news have the same kind of
majority of them,
situation.
yeah.
even like
Same
the
thing
weather
on
people,
NBC.
like everything is just
Oh,
like
yeah.
they're like bulging biceps and just like everything. Look at David Muir with that
that's his
T-shirt
selfie.
on.
It says King
What
of.
is this?
I don't
Look
even
at
know if that's
that.
him.
That is, it looks like him a little
That's
bit.
him.
Does?
Yeah. Look at this. Instagram.
looking-
That was from his Instagram.
Not your father's anchor. ABC.
All right, why don't we do some ads? here,
hot,
Bob?
Sure.
endless stream of hot selfies.
Calumet Brewing. Speaking of, well, I mean,
He's good looking, man. Look at that.
He is.
Whoa.
Now we're all looking at
It's
David
a
Muir.
thirst trap.
Why did Kendra have to bring up David Muir? Or that was Kevin?
No, I didn't.
It was me.
Oh, it's Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he listens to every night with Patrick.
Oh, come on,
He's
man.
posing. He's posing.
What the?
John's
This guy
getting-
is your favorite news anchor?
He's not
great.
married, has no children. There he is with
There's
Lester
Lester
Holt.
Holt.
That's
I
not
love
even
Lester.
him.
I love Lester Holt. Lester Holt and the President Obama. All right. Calumet Brewing. It's time to experience Michelob Ultra with only 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, and 4.2% ABV. It's the perfect way to keep your New Year's resolutions in check, whether you're a pro athlete or just an employee Olympics participant. The journey is only worth it if you enjoy it. That's why Michelob Ultra brews a light lager that's worth every single sip. So no matter if you're kicking back after a workout or enjoying a day out on the slopes, you're sure to enjoy a great beer. Head over to the Cal Brew or Michelob Ultra websites and social media pages for details on this great family of beers. Enjoy the Ultra lifestyle with beers and cheers responsibly.
John's just like flipping through David Muir
Yeah.
pictures and laughing at everyone that comes out.
guy, you
Like
kidding?
David Muir with the Pope. John's like, like everything David Muir is, John is, Boston. in front of
Fenway.
Fenway, yeah.
This guy loves showing off his arms. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Dude, you gotta
If you
get the
had arms
likes,
like
man.
that,
I
you'd
mean,
be freaking showing off
Good
too,
for
big guy.
him.
Yeah, man, he's good looking,
Single,
rich, freaking
Yeah.
famous,
hanging out.
oh God, okay.
famous.
That just is a picture of his arm.
You can see his nipple in that picture. Look at that.
I don't think I can
Just
see his
his
nipple.
arm.
It's just his arm. His face is
You're right, John. He
photoshopped out
does
of it.
kind of show off his arms. That's a photo of just his arm.
His face is like in the corner of the picture. His arm is like in the center where you normally put. Yeah. Okay. So he's in love with himself.
Anyway,
All right.
moving on.
Chris Jones at Properties. Looking to buy your dream home? Chris Jones with at Properties can help. All across Northwest Indiana, it's a great time to buy properties with the properties available at all price ranges. And if you're considering a sale, Chris Jones will get your house sold for top dollar. He's sold some of the most expensive homes in Hammond and Munster last year. Contact Chris Jones at ATProperties at atproperties.com for a market analysis or to discuss the home qualities you're looking for. That's Chris Jones at atproperties.com.
Jill?
are you looking for a new career in 2023? I am.
Whoa.
Wow. We didn't
Breaking
know
news.
Breaking news.
If you're a person who enjoys working with your hands, I'm out. In a challenging and ever-changing environment, an electrical apprenticeship might be for you. Earn a competitive wage while you gain valuable experience. Did we mention employer-paid benefits, including health insurance, pension, and an annuity? If so, visit apply697.com. POW, sponsored by Powering America.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so for those of you that are listeners of Fox News, and for those of you that aren't, this is interesting stuff that stemmed from. So we're going to talk about after the election. Obviously, the last presidential election was close, and a lot of dispute about who won. Not really, but the Electoral College says Joe Biden won. The popular vote says Joe Biden won. Most of America believes Joe Biden won. That, but there is a persistent minority of people out there, the former president included, that believe that basically the election was stolen from President Trump.
The big lie.
Is that fair, Kevin?
which I like to call it. Yes.
Is that fair, John?
There is a
Yes.
There is a number of people that believe the election was stolen somehow.
Right.
Even
One
though
of the theories
they're all
about
counted by states.
how mechanically the election was stolen was that the voting machines used in the presidential election across the country, well, not in a number of locations across the country, was a company called.
Also arguable.
All right.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm with
Okay.
you.
Dominion Voter Systems.
Mm-hmm.
Dominion is a company that makes voting machines in use
definitely
in Atlanta and a number of states. Okay.
I think like maybe even Fulton County, not even
Okay.
which is Atlantic, sure. But I guess good point. It's not like the whole state,
Right.
I mean, like in Indiana, different counties use different types of voting machines.
Gotcha.
Right.
So in this case, in Fulton County, Dominion Voter Systems machines were used during the election, and one of the theories coming out of Fox News, coming out of people, Fox News hosts, coming out of people like Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell,
Yeah.
and people like that, was that the Dominion Voter Systems algorithm was set up to steal votes from President Trump. And not only that, they even had an angle that in a Venezuelan election, the Dominion Voter Systems was used the same way to steal from Hugo Chavez, I believe.
Well, that's what they're
Right.
These are these
This
crazy
is the
allegations,
theories
right,
that are
the
put
theories that
forth
are
on
being-
Fox
right,
News.
that are being put forth by like the folks that are trying to say the election was stolen. And so
Fox News, which obviously has a big bully pulpit, it's
Sure.
a national audience with millions of people that tune in daily. A lot of these people believe everything that they hear on there. And so when Fox News is coming out and saying things like Dominion voting system stole the election, just like they stole it in Venezuela, they have an algorithm set up, there's a significant number of people that believe this because it's on TV. And it's coming out of hosts like Laura Ingraham and Tucker Carlson. These people are saying this stuff.
And I think the interesting thing here is that, like, the Dominion voting systems were used in 24 states, not just the 6 where they were like there was this, alleged fraud, right?
Okay.
And so Dominion got pretty pissed off, as they should.
It's like for those of you that aren't lawyers, Defamation lawsuits are, you can't say anything about a person knowingly, if you knowingly say something about a person that's untrue. Like if I tell people that Kevin Smith, like let's say I'm a fellow lawyer and I tell people that I don't want a big case to go to Kevin, and I say, he has a drug conviction, right? And stuff like that. If I say stuff and it's knowingly false, like that statement was, Kevin could sue me for defamation. And he has to prove intent. He has to prove that the statement was false.
Reckless.
Reckless. And if he does, he could receive damages for that statement that I made. If he could prove damages.
Prove damages. Right, there you go. Yep.
So in this case, corporations could also be defamed.
Sure.
Think
about it.
Dominion voting systems could be defamed. It's a corporation. It has a cause of action if it's defamed.
Like if there's this, if these allegations have been spewed about by people that are saying there's election fraud and that the election was stolen, and they're blaming Dominion and these systems and say there's this algorithm in it, and that ends up being false. I mean, you can imagine how terrible this was for Dominion's bottom line. I mean, if Dominion's out there, think about if you're a salesman for Dominion, and all of a sudden all this stuff's coming down to you against Dominion, and that the machines are bad. How do you sell those to another county?
You have a big contract in Texas.
Yeah.
A big Trump area.
Mm-hmm.
And Dominion voting system suddenly is the one that stole the election from Donald Trump.
And now you're trying, and your contract's
and you're down there
up,
in Texas.
And you're trying to get the new machines
and they're like,
in.
I'm not using Dominion. You guys stole that election from Donald Trump.
Could you imagine?
You know damn well there's multiple counties, there's multiple contacts that they've had that they lost contact.
There's probably counties that are maybe like blue counties that are like, I don't want to deal with the hassle of people coming out saying like, why are you buying Dominion? I mean, you could imagine. I mean, what has this done to their brand?
Yeah,
and so
everybody knows what Dominion is now. Nobody knew what Dominion
would know.
Nobody knew what Dominion voting system was before Fox News put them on blast.
And everything that I've heard and read and seen is that there's no problem with Dominion voting machines.
Okay,
so and $1.6 billion is what they're suing Fox over. $1.6 billion.
So think about this. So if they could prove damages, which Kevin and I just went through a couple easy examples of damages, where you know damn well there's counties that bailed on Dominion voting system because of all the controversy surrounding the Trump election. So if they could prove damages, if they could prove that Fox was saying these things with intent, knowing full well that what they were saying is not true. What people don't realize about lawsuits, like defamation lawsuits, is this period called discovery, where you can get access to phone records, you can get access to emails, you can get access to things that a lot of people think are private, but they're not in lawsuits. And if you're talking about a multi-billion-dollar lawsuit, with a defamation lawsuit with a company like Dominion, they're going to bring in these top law firms with the sharpest legal minds, and they're going to dig all the way up your butt, and they're going to find everything you said about anything. And now what's happening in this case is Laura Ingraham, Tucker Carlson, all these Fox News hosts are coming out in their private lives and saying things differently than what they're saying on the air, which David Muir and his biceps would not do. And I know that, right? David Muir, to me, one of the reasons I watch him is I believe him. When he's saying stuff to me, I believe him. And I feel like he's giving me the honest facts. Like, why do you watch news if they're lying to you?
So it's interesting that like Fox's defense has been that, look, what we're doing is just reporting on something that's newsworthy. We're not giving an opinion on whether it's true or false. And nobody could, this is them speaking kind of like through their court papers. Nobody out there can say that Donald Trump's theory that the election was stolen was not newsworthy. So we're reporting on that. That's their kind of like, this is our defense. Okay. We're just reporting what's out there.
Tucker Carlson would say one thing on the air, and then right off the air, him and Laura Ingraham are emailing, texting back and forth. And this is what Tucker Carlson says right after getting off the air and defending, defending the integrity of the last election. He gets off the air and says to Laura Ingraham, Sidney Powell is lying, by the way. I caught her. It's insane. Mr. Carlson wrote to Miss Ingraham on November 8th, 2020. Miss Ingraham responds by saying, Sidney is a complete nut. Nobody will work with her. Ditto with Rudy. Mr. Carlson continued, our viewers are good people and they believe it, he added, making clear that he did not. It's like mocking the viewers. This reminds me of what Donald Trump says, I love the uneducated. I love the uneducated because they believe every goddamn thing we say. And this is like the Fox News hosts have contempt. They say one thing and then they get off and they totally say something different.
Yeah, I thought some of the thing about Tucker that he said was interesting. I mean, he even, in a November 16th text, according to this article, he said, Sidney Powell is lying, effing bitch. He also described Powell as unguided missile and dangerous as hell, calling her a crazy person. And interestingly, of the hosts on Fox, my understanding is that Tucker Carlson wasn't pushing the unfounded conspiracy theories that Rudy and Sidney were pushing, and that Dominion's voting had rigged the election. But as a network, they were trying to push this because they were worried about like a place like Newsmax getting their viewership because they weren't pushing this enough. And so I think that to me was the interesting part, and that's the theory that Dominion has, saying like they did this because they wanted to protect their profits, not because they wanted to give you the news.
Right.
And that's what I,
Rupert Murdoch, the chief executive officer of Fox News, after watching Mr. Giuliani and Miss Powell on television, that must have been the porno store. What was that?
Oh, it was,
Four Seasons?
Storm.
Four
What was her
Seasons?
name? What was the name?
No. Four Seasons.
Yeah.
The
Yes,
Four
yes.
Seasons
the
landscaping.
It was
They
the
thought it was
landscape Philadelphia.
all right. It was for those of you
John,
who don't
remember that?
Yeah.
They Rudy
Held a press
Giuliani
conference.
wants to have a press conference at Four Seasons Hotel, and they accidentally booked Four Seasons like landscaping, and it was right next to a porno store.
Yes.
And they held a press conference in front of a porno store at Four Seasons Landscaping. And after it was over, and this is the one where Rudy Giuliani's hair dye was dripping down his face because it was so hot out. And on one occasion, after watching that press conference, Mr. Murdoch watched Mr. Giuliani and Mrs. Powell on Miss Powell on television and told Suzanne Scott, "It's terrible stuff, damaging stuff. Damaging everybody. I fear." He says, "This is the top guy at Fox News, like passing judgment, and his hosts are saying totally different stuff."
Yeah, I mean, Tucker Carlson said we worked really hard to build what we have. He said these fuckers are destroying our credibility. It enrages me.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, what Trump's good at is destroying things. He's the undisputed world champion of that. He could easily destroy us if we play it wrong. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's going right to the meat of it, in my opinion, is that they were worried about either Trump or they were worried about losing their viewership to another entity if they didn't come out strong and support what Trump's theories were.
How about this one? On November 12th, so this is what, a week after the election, on a text chain with Miss Ingram again, Mr. Hannity, Tucker Carlson. So he's on with Sean Hannity and Laura Ingram. Tucker Carlson points out a tweet in which a Fox reporter fact-checked a tweet from Donald Trump. So a Fox News reporter fact-checks Donald Trump.
Jackie Heinrich.
Right? Mm-hmm. So, like, what you're supposed to do if you're a reporter, fact-check. You're giving the news. You want to make sure it's factual.
Well, this is within their network, by the way.
Right. So Tucker Carlson takes exception to a reporter fact-checking Mr. Trump on Fox News and texts Laura Ingram, Sean Hannity, "Please get her fired," Mr. Carlson said. He added, "It needs to stop immediately. Like tonight, it's measurably hurting the company. The stock price is down. This is not a joke."
And he said that he was worried about, or somebody was worried about Newsmax. He actually said, "What the fuck?" I'm actually shocked in that same tweet. On and on. It's interesting to see this. And John, I mean, I know you listen to Tucker.
You listen to Fox. And I'm not like...
No, don't put words in my mouth.
I'm not trying to attack you,
I'm not a huge fan
John.
of Fox.
I'm not trying to attack
Tucker,
you.
though.
I want to make
You've
it clear,
listened to
John.
Tucker before.
I like Tucker.
Yeah.
But
I mean, he's not stupid.
But
Harvard,
John,
Yale.
what is
I mean,
this
not a
shit?
dumb
Well, there's
guy.
a lot of Harvard, Yale guys that I don't agree
But what
with.
is this shit, John? Like, isn't the news the most important part to be factual?
I'll be honest. I read this article, the same article you guys read. I didn't really see much shock in it to me. I don't know. I mean, Fox is saying all this is taken out of context. And I'd love to see the context personally. I mean, you're saying like, "Oh, Murdoch said this is crazy stuff." Well, can you imagine? Like, you guys everyone has said when you see the news, "Wow, this is crazy." Well, what does he mean by that? You know?
Yeah, I thought that was. I mean, was just like a.
I
want to
see the content. You know, what was the tweet from this Fox reporter that she?
I think that's fair.
That she fact checked Trump, and Tucker said, "Get her fired." What's the tweet? They don't say what the tweet
I've
was.
seen it. I've seen it.
What is it?
I've seen it. She said something about that she disagreed with what Trump was saying, that the election was stolen.
It was like a week after the election, keep in mind.
So, I mean, look,
So
I'm not here
obviously-
to defend Fox. I'm not a big fan of
I know.
Fox. But I'll just say I just wasn't that shocked about this article. I didn't. It's like a big nothing burger.
But let's
to
take
me.
a step
I don't know.
backwards. This is the defamation lawsuit, and Kevin and I talked about earlier. You need to make a false statement, and saying that Dominion has an algorithm that fixes election, and Dominion rigged previous elections. That's a false statement, I imagine, right?
Yeah. I mean, the question is whether or not Fox said it or they were reporting. I think that's where this turns, and that's where I'm interested in how this lawsuit ends up.
It has to be made with intent, knowingly it's false.
Knowingly intent, or was it?
So that's where all these texts come in. They know that they're full of shit when they're saying this stuff.
Do they know they are? Or do they know that their guests are, and that's where it's interesting to me. That's where I think it's going to turn. You know, I thought Fox's defense was really, really interesting to me. Like, hey, we're just reporting the news. This is newsworthy. I can't. If these people are crazy, like Sidney Powell, and we think they're effing crazy, and that's what the texts reflect. Does that carry over to Fox? I think that's where the rubber meets the road.
They're guests, then if by giving them a platform, aren't you culpable?
Well, that's an interesting point, Jill, because one of the things that Dominion alleges, Tom, and John, is that they had the pillow. What's that guy's name, John? Pillow?
Yeah, pillow guy.
Pillow dude.
Guy, yeah.
Thank you, my pillow guy.
Yeah.
Tucker Carlson had him on and let him like spew all this stuff and didn't really say, even though he knew all this stuff, it didn't challenge him. Just said, "Thank you, God bless you, thanks for coming on."
Which is letting them defame a company.
It's
You're putting a person on to defame. First off, so we said that this is a multi-billion-dollar lawsuit. There's what, 1.4 billion? You said, Kevin?
1.6 billion.
1.6 billion. Fox News is worth about 4 billion. Oh no, Fox Corporation has 4 billion cash on hand, so they could pay this out.
Still go forward.
I wish
It'd be
Dominion.
interesting. It is going to be very interesting. The jury gets picked in April.
I wish Dominion was a public stock because I would be buying.
Really?
Yes, I would be.
Okay.
They're gonna check that out.
Are they public?
I'm sure.
No.
I'm sure they are.
Dominion?
Wouldn't you think?
I'm going to make out another sheet.
Okay.
And I'm going to put it next to this one that says the S&P 500 will hit 3,600 one more time.
Has it happened yet?
It's getting ready to today.
All right. Today is the day.
No, it's not going to go down to 3,600 today, but the market's going to get rocked again today.
Okay.
Just like the other day. What's that?
I did Dominion voting stock symbol. I don't see anything.
Oh.
So maybe they're not.
I said the other day it's going to drop. It dropped 2% that day. It's going to drop again today, by the way.
Hey, who is Phil now helping prepare show notes? Because okay. So I get a text from Phil yesterday harassing me about this article or about the news. And
you know what?
And then it's on the show notes, and I thought, okay, what's going on?
No, actually, Phil brought it up as a record. By the way, I love it when people give us recommendations for the show, and we get them constantly. Thank God, by the way, because a lot of times we're blank on what we're going to talk about. This
blank.
I put. Well, sometimes we are.
Yeah, we scratch.
When I read this one, I wrote it down on my calendar, which is how I save things for the show. And then Phil brought it up to me yesterday, John, and I was like, Phil, and I showed him my phone. I was like, I had it written down already.
Okay.
That is true.
I like responded to him like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. And he's just like relentless. Like, if you ever believe one thing Fox News says, I'm like, dude, I'm not interested in this.
I have a lot of friends that listen to Fox News, and I have family that listens to Fox News, and I'm going to be asking them about this because when they're
it's almost like they're playing them.
They are playing them.
That's the thing I wouldn't want.
It's like a contempt. Like when David Muir talks to me, I don't feel like he has contempt for me. Like he's sneering and laughing at me. He's just like doing push-ups and building up those bulging biceps, but he doesn't have contempt for me.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting because some of Tucker's texts were like, "These are good people, our listeners," and we've spent a lot of time and money working, getting them to be our listeners, and now this is happening. And it was almost like he was
worried
what was going. I mean, it's
because they're pitching bullshit, and he knew they were pitching bullshit. And once people find out that Fox News is pitching bullshit, they're going to leave.
Yeah,
that's what he's worried about. Kevin.
I wonder if people are moving to Newsmax. I mean, that's even crazier, in my opinion.
I think they probably, at least on Newsmax, and I can't say I've never been on Newsmax one time. I would imagine they don't lie. I hope they don't lie.
Actually, they also were threatened by Dominion. This is part of the problem.
I don't look at Newsmax.
Yeah,
and I listen to Fox News just sometimes to get a perspective.
Newsmax, man.
I think it's interesting, actually, because I'm so used to listening to my sources and reading my sources. I'll put on Fox News sometimes just to get a chuckle. And I'm like, God, it's so crazy how different the world is viewed.
The world is viewed.
Yeah, it's like totally from a different slant, totally from a different perspective.
Speaking on how different people view the world, we're going to come back after ads and talk about somebody else who views the world a little differently.
Let's do that.
Wait, I have a question,
John,
before we wrap this up. And listen, we've spent a lot of time talking about the voting Dominion thing. So this is not me changing the subject, which Phil claim I'm really good at, but Phil's the best at it. This is me just asking a question, okay? So all these reporters on all these channels that said, if you get vaxxed, you cannot get COVID, which is a lie. That's wrong.
I don't think they ever said that.
Dude, come on, man. There's tons of videos out there.
How do we get onto COVID?
No, let me ask you a question.
But I don't agree with your basic premise. I don't remember anybody saying
Tom,
that you're never going to get
I'm
COVID.
100% correct. I'll show you videos and stuff.
Tom.
Rachel Maddow and stuff. So
you're saying, how is that
knowing
any
that's
different than what
wrong?
Fox did?
Knowing that's not true.
I don't remember
can these people be held liable then?
But John, here's the difference. At the time, did they know it was true? or not.
Okay,
true,
at the
right?
time,
like,
did
at the
Fox
time.
know it wasn't true?
I think that's what they're trying to say is the text.
Based on text out of
yes,
context.
that they were saying that. Well, I'm not saying they're in context or out of context.
Okay.
I'm just saying what is Dominion's theory. Dominion's theory is they knew it was all. In fact, they knew it was all BS because at the time they were putting these people on, they were back channeling each other
At
about
the same
how-
time, they're texting
right.
each other.
Whereas I guess John, to go to your example, I would say to prove that you'd have to say at the time did people believe that
Based on the information
based on the
they
information
had.
they had at the time, did they believe that the vaccine could?
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I would. That would be my counter to that. So, all right.
Rogers Roofing.
Yes. Hey, Johnny Rogers.
When you want the best for your home and family, trust the best in the business, Rogers Roofing. Rogers Roofing has transformed homes in Northwest Indiana and Chicagoland for more than 54 years, providing quality roofing, siding, gutters, and windows, all backed by the best warranties in the industry. To learn more and to schedule your free consultation, visit rogersroofing.com or call 219-933-9145 today. That's rogersroofing.com, 219-933-9145. And remember, at Rogers Roofing, excellence is expected every time.
Misprint Printing. Misprint specializes in delivering the highest quality signs and printing on time and under budget. Misprint's experience and technology allows them to offer custom, commercial, on-demand printing and sign solutions. Rick Balzenberger and his team have served Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana for over 30 years. They have 2 convenient locations to serve you in Munster and Hammond.
Byway Brewing is a family-friendly microbrewery with a spacious tap room and outside patio. Their brewing equipment offers a unique backdrop for your private event like weddings, reunions, or corporate parties. They're conveniently located just off of 8094 at the Kennedy Avenue South exit. Come on by and enjoy Byway's award-winning beers and unbeatable menu. For more information, check out bywaybrewing.beer.
Ron J. Pressmer Insurance Agency has been located for decades right on Indianapolis Boulevard, serving all your insurance needs. They specialize in a wide variety of insurance products and services, including auto, home, business, life, and much more. The Pressmer Agency serves over 1,000 people and businesses in all the Chicagoland area and the Midwest. Call Ron, Ronnie, or Michael at 219-844-0103. That's 219-844-0103. Ron J. Pressmer Insurance Agency.
Cantrell and Cantrell Attorneys at Law. Are you injured or in trouble with the law? Give us a call and schedule your consultation today with somebody who's in court and at the jail every day. Call John Cantrell at 219-554-4LAW or visit their website at bettercallcantrell.com. John and his wife, Kristen, make a great team and are waiting to hear from you.
All right. Let's do this.
Yeah, so speaking of ways we get stories, this actually came from John.
Thank you, John.
And he had seen this.
Vez or Cantrell?
Vez.
Okay.
Yeah, our producer.
MTG.
Off the rails, in my opinion. But
she's being mentioned more on the show than Todd Rokita, I believe. Or she's right up there.
She's up there as one of our faves.
Todd Rokita is hiding from the world right now.
So, yeah, he hasn't been out lately.
I know. He's tucked tail.
Yeah.
And ran because he's getting sued for defamation also.
He is. He is.
The old defamation lawsuits.
Yeah. We're still here.
Yeah.
John, you sent me this.
We're still here getting sued for defamation also.
That's what I said. I was like, here we are.
What the freaking heck is going on?
John, you sent this to me. This tweet from Marjorie Taylor Greene, 14th Congressional District Representative out of the state of Georgia. Member of Congress, MOC.
She's like what, north side of Atlanta, right?
Northwest?
Yeah.
No, I think she's more, I don't think she's Atlanta.
Oh, really? Okay.
She's like northern part of the state.
Okay.
Up in the Smokies or something.
Listen, and this, I'm talking to Phil again, actually. I'm picking on Phil.
It's like John and Phil are having this imaginary
no.
discussion right here on the air.
People think I'm lockstep with all these Republicans, and it's not true. I think I'm honestly one of the most independent thinkers that I know, truthfully. I attack the supermajority on here all the time, yet I'm a conservative. So this is another example.
Democrat.
I have voted Democrat and Republican in presidential
that,
elections. Here's a good example. Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Like
right?
John voted for Frank Mervan over me. He voted Democrat that election. So.
Not true.
Awkward.
So MTG is given this interview recently saying, if you're coming from a blue state and moving to a red state, you should not be allowed to vote for 5 years. Am I saying this right, Kevin?
Think about what a dumbass she is.
I mean, like,
yes,
basically
yes,
against
John,
the Constitution.
You are saying that right.
Like,
well, I mean,
patently
and who defines states as a red and blue state?
But what's her
is the
purpose
problem.
here? What's her purpose here?
To get to to get in the news.
Yeah, she gets money as soon as she says that.
Yeah.
I learned this. That I'd never really thought about this before I became a candidate, and I know Kevin thinks this way as well. When you're a federal elected official like this, and you're tied up to Act Blue or the Republican equivalent of Act Blue, every time you say outrageous shit like this, John, your campaign account goes up by hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so you're literally incentivized to say the wackiest, stupidest shit, and then these crazy people out there that support wacky, crazy shit being said will just pour money into your account.
Yeah, I mean, what did she say, John? You can live there and work there, but you don't get to bring your values. That sounds very American.
So that's what got me.
Yeah.
Don't talk to us about your values. This is coming from MTG, who's ran around cheating on her ex-husband. It's just it's publicly known. They're
Really?
Divorced. Yes. And she's
We don't
talking
throw those
about
accusations around on Lockpod very
No,
often.
she's talking about values. Come on, man. This kind of stuff. And by the way, Tom, you brought up a good point. This is one of my biggest problems with politics today is all these wars are being fought on Twitter.
Yes.
Politically. It just makes a joke out of the whole thing.
I mean, this
there's
is a member of
real world
Congress.
stuff going on.
Yes, agree.
And wait till we go through some of her tweets recently. It's just so it's just cringe, man.
Well, that's okay. John.
You know what, John? That's a good way to put it. It's cringe.
Like John just said something I said on the last show about J.D. Vance, the senator of Ohio.
I love when you
He
said
goes
that.
out to a creek and does a TikTok and says, "Look at the water," and he like scrapes it across
look
the
at the
bottom,
oil.
and the oil comes up. And I'm like, "You're a U.S. senator, asshole! Like, do something about it. Don't freaking make a TikTok." This goes back to what you're saying, John.
Yeah.
It's like legislate by TikTok and legislate by Twitter.
And get reelected by Twitter and TikTok.
Because what's their purpose? J.D. Vance is doing the same thing.
I'm
He
in the
wants
news.
money.
I'm in the news.
He wants money. He
Need my
wants
campaign
attention.
account.
Yeah. Pour hundreds of thousands into my campaign account so that when I run for re-election, I'm impossible to beat. Right? Todd Young does the same thing. All due respect. And I'm not talking crap about Todd Young because I said I was done with that, and I am.
All
But,
right.
like, they all do the same thing.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
what national politicians are encouraged to say stupid shit so that they can get that Act Blue money to pour into their accounts.
And she goes on and on. And to me, it's almost like inciting secession, right? She says, we need a national divorce. We need to separate by red states and blue states, as if that's a defining characteristic, by the way, and shrink the federal government.
God,
Everyone I talk to says this.
If we got caught in a civil war, you and I would be on the wrong freaking team.
From
Kevin.
the sick and
Chill,
disgusting woke culture,
Where the hell
issues
would I move?
Shoved down our throats to the Democrats' traitorous America's last policies, we are done. And then she goes, if you go on her Twitter, it's crazy. She talks about, like, we wouldn't have to worry about the Department of Defense. We wouldn't have to worry about the Department of Education. We can decide our own rules for how our kids are taught.
And then,
I'm like,
you know what? And when Russia takes us over, she'd be happy about that, too, because they're Kremlin-loving, Putin lovers.
it's crazy. That's another thing. She did a tweet about President Biden and how upset she was that he went and visited President Zelensky in Kyiv. Okay? She says, this is incredibly insulting. Today on our President's Day, Joe Biden, the President of the United States, chose Ukraine over America while forcing the American people to pay for Ukraine's government and war. I cannot express how much Americans hate Joe Biden. I mean, you know, obviously, everybody knows where I am on this with Joe Biden versus, Trump, I guess. But I don't care, and I said this even when Trump was president. He's the president. Show some respect. Show some, you can disagree with him as much as you want. And I'll tell you something, personally, I thought it was pretty ballsy for Biden to go over to Kyiv and meet with President Zelensky during a war. I thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah, I did too, and I'm not a Biden apologist.
Yeah.
And by the way, her last sentence, like saying I can't, America.
How much
hates,
Americans hate Joe Biden.
I don't.
It's like,
I don't hate the guy.
no.
Of course, he's a nice person. I met him. I don't
Absolutely.
think. I personally don't want him to run again, but that doesn't mean I hate Joe Biden. And I agree with Kevin. By the way, I think for the president of the United States to go to a war zone, like that took huge courage. And by the way, I thought it was interesting that they tipped off the Kremlin as he was arriving.
I think they must do that. Just
They have to.
Yeah.
Because think about it.
Yeah. You don't want the
World
Russians
War III
accidentally
starts. Right. They bombed
killing
Kiev, and they
bombing the
killed-
train that he's in on his way to Kyiv.
Can you imagine if that happened? Though?
Well, and
it
I
would be
think
World War III.
Absolutely. So,
That would have been World War III if that happens. That's literally how World War I started.
so that's how they let him go. So anyway, I think it was interesting. I thought it would be
Almost the same location too. Funny enough,
Yeah.
it was
close.
Austria where World War I started, right?
when the
assassination of the
Archduke
Ferdinand.
Ferdinand.
Ferdinand,
Yeah.
right? So like, if Joe Biden goes to Ukraine and accidentally gets bombed by Russia, like that's World War III.
Yeah, they let him know. A couple hours. They gave him a
right.
couple
They're
hours
like,
notice.
hey, POTUS is on scene. I thought it was huge. By the way,
I did too, and I thought the photos say a lot. I thought it was important that I think the Ukrainians obviously were bolstered by this. That the president's there, that he's telling them he's with them, and I personally think the war in Ukraine is very important for Eastern and Western Europe. I mean, it's important to hold this guy in check.
Yep, I agree with you.
Putin, I mean.
What do you guys think about? So Yellen yesterday came out and said we're readying another $10 billion package for Ukraine. What's going on, man? How are we affording?
I think
this?
Those are pennies. I mean, John, compared to what we've spent in Afghanistan,
they're pennies.
Well, we so far we've spent twice as much as all other European countries combined. Like, what's that?
They're also
closer
dealing
to this than
we are.
But
John, they're also dealing with the refugee issues. They're also dealing with the natural gas issues. They all got their energy from Russia. They're going through their own problems. Although natural gas is super cheap right now, but still.
I mean, $10 billion is pennies. Is that what you just said?
I think in the national debt,
our national debt's $30 trillion, John. That's pennies.
It's not even. And John, what we spent in Afghanistan, I mean, during 3 presidents. I mean, absolutely.
But what are we supposed to do? Just let Ukraine get rolled over?
Well, I mean, that's the problem. If you want to be a xenophobe and sit back here and just sit in Miami Beach and not care about what happens to the rest of the world,
that's what happened in World War II.
That's what you're going to do. Is if you become
we're supposed to learn from history, right?
Yeah, I mean, and the downside is that America does become the world's policeman. I mean, it just happens.
We're the luckiest country in the world in this regard. I'm not saying we're the best country in the world because I'm not naive like that, okay? We're the luckiest country in the world because we're the strongest, and we have 2 oceans protecting us, and we have friends to the north, and quite frankly, we have friends to the south too.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay? So, like, we don't have to worry about Russia invading Texas, right? Like, we don't have to worry about that. You have to worry about that if you're Poland. You have to worry about that if you're Germany and over there on the front lines because it's happened before, by the way.
And I think you got to be with your allies, and it shows the strength of the NATO alliance. And I does America always spend more? They do. They have to pitch in more than they probably should. But they're also kind of in charge. And if the rest of the world looks to America for help, we have to be there for our friends. I mean, that's how I've always felt.
Todd Young's pro. He was pro. Him and I agreed on that. And he's as Republican as they come, John.
I mean, it's kind of shocking to me, actually, John, that Congress isn't more on board with helping Ukraine in the face of Russia, who is absolutely, I think everybody in Congress can agree that Putin is no friend of America and is a threat.
John?
What?
You're going dark.
Do you believe that Putin's a threat? And is no friend of America?
I'm just saying, I think it's crazy, the blank checks. That's all I'm saying, guys.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm kind of shocked you guys aren't.
I did not agree.
John, I think I've made a pretty good living on, like, being as fair as I could possibly be. And I've been critical of Joe Biden. And I'm trying to be as objective as possible. I think that there's no way we could turn our backs to Ukraine. I don't think that's possible because if we spend $10 billion now or whatever we're spending right now, it could prevent a catastrophe down the road where we're spending trillions in a world war in that same area because we let Ukraine get taken over and now Poland's on the line, and we can't let that happen.
And I think I really think that that Republicans that are in like the Senate Intelligence Committee and Foreign Relations Committee, I think they know this. I think they know this.
Who are the Republicans you trust, Kevin, as a Democrat? Jill?
I mean, I'm sure there are many. I'm sure there are many.
I know right off the top of my head, I could think of one that I trust.
Romney.
I like Romney. I like Murkowski.
Romney. I trust Romney. I believe he's a good American.
I'm sure there are a bunch more. I just don't know him by name.
I trust Todd Young. I trust his judgment.
I think he's good on foreign relations.
For sure. I think Todd Young, I don't necessarily agree with his, although China is becoming a lot more militant, and he was always anti-China. But like I trust Todd Young. And I don't trust Braun.
No.
Not I wanted to mention that, Tom. Since our last show, I just read an article. China and Russia are meeting. Right?
Yeah.
So now it's coming out. They're in talks. China to supply Russia with 100 like tactical drones by April. And if that is true, that goes to Tom's point about you were talking about stocks, and we were talking about America getting more involved.
If we could fast forward a few episodes, I have a feeling we're going to be starting to read articles about American sanctions on China. If that happens, it's the end of we're at S&P is about 4,000 right now. Okay, I'm telling you, 3,000 is in sight. If we start talking about I think it could be even lower than 3,000.
Well, and I wonder
that's a 25% drop. And one time, keep in mind, we were at 4,800 at one time. Like I'm talking We could be at 3,000 if we have sanctions against China.
And
That's
by
a
the way,
25% drop.
I really am curious on whether this all goes back to shooting down the spy balloon. If China's like, okay, well, you shoot down our spy balloon, we're going to give them 100 drones. And then all of a sudden, where it's like, why the F did we shoot down that stupid spy balloon in the first place?
I guess I was wrong. I wanted to shoot it down when it was over the Great Plains.
Yeah.
And then I took heat from people in Montana and Wyoming. They thought I didn't care for them.
It's getting scary.
So when I run for president,
yeah.
Mississippi's out, Wyoming's out, Montana's
Those
out.
are small electoral numbers.
Thank
don't
goodness,
worry.
right? I'm
Yeah, it's
pissing
like
off
3.
I'm pissing off the deep red
3
states.
for Wyoming, 4 for Montana, maybe 3.
But it is getting scary. I read too, like America's quadrupling their military presence in Taiwan.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
there's some escalation.
That's a
going
flashpoint
on.
potentially.
And
That
think about it.
is
So
a
you got
huge
China and
flashpoint.
Taiwan. You got North Korea always launching ICBMs all over the place.
Yep.
You got Iran, who's super unpredictable.
Yep.
And then obviously you got Russia and Ukraine. I mean, those 4 areas we talked about could be the World War. Just like in World War II, there's multiple
Let's
sides.
hope not. We don't need any of that.
I don't think it's a stretch. And
Give
if that
peace a
happens,
chance.
I agree, man. But I don't like what's going on. But I'm like, my entire portfolio is basically short. Going back to Tom's stock tips.
Money won't matter if there's a nuclear war.
I like
wonder-
that for the title. Yeah.
That's really
That's a great
That's going to
title.
be a real. People are going to really click on that one.
Yeah.
Money won't matter if there's a nuclear war. Let's
think-
don't do that one for a title.
Well, let's not.
It'll be
let's
the
not-
least listened to Lockpod episode of all time.
disagree.
Surpassing the South Shore Convention and Visitors Bureau. I love Dave, but we didn't have the clicker on that day, so it naturally looks low. Like this episode would be even lower than that.
It's true though.
I love Dave Duran.
How about wrapping it up?
Yeah.
How about we wrap it up? My bladder tells me it's time to wrap up.
But to your guys' point, if we are the leader of the world, right? You mentioned that a few minutes ago. We have to start leading here because things are getting weird, man. They are.
Yeah, and I think
Agreed.
we're leading. I think we're trying to show leadership.
Okay. Anyways, wrap it up.
Love you guys. We love our listeners. That's why we make love to your ears
All
every
12 of
Tuesday
you.
and Friday. Huh? Yeah.
All 12 of you.
Thanks, Jill, for coming in.
Yeah.
Even though I altered the balance of power when I put you on the controllers team, I still love you.
I would like it noted that there was no begging involved. Thank you for defending me,
You listened to
Kevin.
that episode. See, I'm glad to
In the
I'm glad-
hospital.
I was testing.
listening to you
I was
talking shit
testing you.
about me.
I was testing you. I want to see if you actually listen when you're away. We already know Lindsay doesn't listen when she's away. I was just making sure. But yeah, I did alter the balance of power. As tournament director, I failed.
You got to give the people what they want, you know.
Or
Thanks,
at least
Joe.
controller. She writes the checks.
Yeah, right. I don't piss off Megan. So thanks, Jabez. Thanks
Hey.
for being the token Republican in the room. We appreciate that.
Yeah, people like
Conservative.
the show in chat. I think when we disagree, people like it.
I always disagree with you. They should like it all the time. Thanks, Jabez.
Yep.
Good to see you. Kevin Chandler,
Yes, sir.
appreciate you.
Thank you.
Holding down the fort, doing your job,
F Party City.
questioning me all the time. F Party City, part due. And then coming from the locomotive, love you guys. Miss
Mayor
you.
Emeritus.
My birthday's coming up, so send flowers. I like money. Money's good.
Flowers?
Money. Don't
Money.
send flowers.
All right.
Yeah. Don't waste money on flowers.
You're going to be 54 soon.
I appreciate cold hard cash. And, stocks, bonds, stuff like that is appropriate as well.
However, if you're donating to his mayor campaign, go to GoMcDermott.com.
Yeah.
Cash not
That's good
accepted.
too.
And if you live in Chicago, Tom's birthday wish is that you vote for Vallis.
Yes.
Maybe. Depends if he
Until
follows him on
Tuesday.
Twitter.
Yeah. Follow me on Twitter and you will get that endorsement. So we appreciate you listening to Lockpod. Now you know why we're Indiana's most dangerous podcast. We appreciate everybody. We will see you on Tuesday. We'll be back bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. See you guys Tuesday. Lockpod's out.